Welcome back, everybody. Second period here coming up between Fargo and Sioux City. Welcome back, everybody, to the broadcast booth. I'm Ronnie Vadine with you all. Well, Sioux City, they had a much better start to the game tonight, that is for sure, than they did last night. So hopefully maybe they'll be able to run away with this one now. But Fargo, after leading after one, I should say, 14-2, 2-1 on the year. Trailing after one period this year, Sioux City 3-11, 1-0. So, yeah, hopefully those stats are wrong. Will prove us wrong here tonight. In fact, Fargo leading after one on the road, they're 8-1, 1-1. While Sioux City trailing after one at home, they're 2-5, 1-0. So we'll have to see what happens. Nate Delladonna will take the draw here with Aiden Dyer to get things started out with this second period. And we're off and underway here in this second period. Aiden Dyer picks this one up, rolls up the right side. Poking it away was Cherney. Kept in, though, the Fargo zone. Here's Cherney with it. Cherney feeds it on over to Lindbergh. Lindbergh there for Saxon Tess. Tess there now for Lindbergh. Picked up there by Vatne. Here he comes back the other way, 2-on-1. Vatne, nice pass to Stanger, and a shot just went wide. Ooh, a good chance early. Saxton Tess intercepted. Vatne, a shot save made by Harinik. So two good shots to get things started out. That's a good sign. Just got to keep it up now. Face-off will come to the right here of Harinik. Gavin Gary will take the draw with Mason West. Gary wins the draw. Here's O'Leary with it down into the corner. He gets smashed into the boards. That's Lofgren with it up the left side. Lofgren feeds it on over to Mason West. West up the right side. Hands it on back. There for Lofgren, takes a shot. Boy, they had a wide open net. Sibnewski did, and he didn't get it in. That's just embarrassing. Here's Gavin Gary feeding it off to Gavin Carr. Carr on for Luke Gary. Takes a shot, went wide of Harinik. Picked up there by Colin Sisson. Now it's O'Leary. A shot went back behind the net. Luke Gary in front. Boy, Harinik doesn't have a stick, so let's see. Here's Derek Olson with it. Olson feeds it back behind the net there for Gavin Gary. He's not allowed really to get it. Now Lofgren gives it back to him. Mason West with it out towards center here for McNamara. McNamara into the hands of Olson. Up for grabs, Luke Gary punts it down into the corner. Gary out towards center. Here's a shot, and they score. I believe that'll be either Kosiba or McNamara. Either way, it's a 2-0 game. That took just a minute and 40 seconds into the second. Sioux City, they had a strong first 30 seconds, but well, Cullen wins the draw here. Here's Lindbergh with it now. Lindbergh up the left side here for Jones. Jones into the circle. Jones into the corner. Off the boards, back out there for Marchenko. Marchenko now for Jones. Down low, Gold with it there for Derek Olson. Here's Olson with it now. Feeds it on over to Shane Gold. Spins around a defender. Here's Schultz. Off the boards, taken back though by Lindbergh. Here's Schultz taken away. Shot. Oh, it went through the glove of Harinik. Just a little wide, boy. Two close opportunities here. Here's a shot. Save made by Shea. I think it went off his mask, but he has it covered up. Boy, Sioux City, they're just so close to getting in front. Face-off will come to the left here of Ryder Shea. Deladonna will take the draw here with Aiden Dyer. 1-2 versus 2-2s at the face-off. Face-off's one. Trying to get it out. Now they do. Here's Dyer with it up the left side. He's smashed into the boards by Olenkamp. Here's Anderson with it. Anderson sends it towards the right side there for D'Alessandro. Up the right side, Aiden Dyer with it there at the blue line. Cherney picks this one up. Sent down towards center. Now there for Sagadin. Sagadin. Shot. Save made there by Shea. Rolls into the corner. Picked up here by Stanger. Here's Stanger into the hands of Aiden Dyer. Picked up there by Sagadin, but now Vatne in the circle. Here's Vatne off the boards. All the way out towards center. Christian Lyons with it. Lyons sent off the glass. Boy, it took a funny hop. It just a little wide of Hrenik. Here's Martineau with it. Martineau behind the net, taken there by Colin McCrate. Rolls back behind the net. Oh boy, Carr got a nasty hit there by McNamara, but no penalty called, of course, because why wouldn't they call it? Here's Daniil Boutin up the left side. Boutin sent back behind the net there for Hrenik. Martineau has this one. Taken there by Boutin behind the net. Lenny Geiger with it. Geiger in front, spin around a defender, didn't get there. There's Martineau out in front. Lenny Geiger. Oh, pass got blocked by West. Now it's Lofgren back the other way up the right side. Lofgren down into the corner, back behind the net. McNamara popped up into the air. And a scramble for back behind the net. Here's Lenny Geiger in the corner. Geiger now intercepted. Lofgren feeds it on over for Lindberg. Lindberg down there into the corner behind the net. Martineau is there. Boutin sends it down into the corner. Picked up there by Colin Sisson. Rolls up the right side. It's Mason West. Here's McNamara with it. Intercepted. Here's Luke Gary back the other way. Can he break free? Pass McCray. Boy, Luke Gary was hacked and whacked, and they don't even call it. O'Leary's shot went wide. Lindberg, my goodness, call something. Here's Luke Gary. A shot got blocked. Cullen taken away. Gavin Gary has this one. Gary sent down for his brother Luke. Wrap around, try in front. O'Leary couldn't get the shot off, but now it's Luke Gary out towards the blue line. Intercepted McNamara. Olsen spins off a Sisson. Now it's Luke Gary with that long toss. Oh, connected with O'Leary, but then Marchenko decided to be a douche. Now O'Leary pins up a guy against the boards. Kosiba up the right side. Nice pass there to Cullen. Taken there by Kosiba. Sent towards center there by Marchenko. There's Gavin Gary with it. Picked up Mason Stanger with it. Stanger now for Jeffress. Taken away. Here's Kosiba with it. A little poke check into the hands of Marchenko. Gold takes this one off the board. Schultz up the left side. Now Marchenko with it. Kosiba sent back behind for Lofgren. On over across Marchenko. Tipped there by Cullen. Down into the corner behind the net of Shea. Shane Gold with this one in the corner. And a scramble down there. Cullen. Now Jeffress gets it on here for Schultz. Here they come 3-on-2. Schultz on over to Jeffress. Jeffress. Shot blocked there in front. Ooh, I think we are going to have a penalty, and Sioux City is going to have a power play. Finally, favor. Cherney will go to the box. I think we're going to take a break. It's about that time. Hooking is the call. 13:50 left to go in the second. We'll take a break. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. 13:50 left to go here in the second period. Fargo with a 2-0 lead. Face-off will come to the left of Harinik. Schultz will take the draw here with Brooks Cullen, and we got a power play. Cherney went into the box for hooking, and we got Schultz, Gavin Gary, Luke Gary, Shane Golden, William Topko. Here's Topko. Pass across. He should have just shot. Now it's Gary, couldn't get it off. Here's Schultz with it down there in the corner, back behind the net. McCray, it's cleared but not out. Here's Gary with it. Now that one, into the penalty box and out of play. Boy, that almost clipped Cherney down there. It landed in his zone down there. Face-off will come to the right here of of Harinik. Cullen will take the draw here with Schultz. Schultz wins the draw, but then Tess immediately clears it down ice. Go figure. Shea leaves it there for Gold. Here's Gold, rolls up on her. Going to be into a trap, that's for sure. Do we have 5 guys out there? Okay, we do have 5. Doesn't seem like there's 5 out there for us. Here's Shea with it. Shea leaves it there for Gold. Gold sends it back behind to William Tomko. Tomko now to Luke Gary. Luke feeds it on to Schultz through the legs, and Tess might as well clear it again. That one out of play, though. It's got too much firepower, I'll tell you that much. Normally that would be a face-off in the Musketeer zone, but since he shot it from his own zone, face-off will come to the left of Harinik. Anderson will take the draw with Cullen this time. It's O'Leary with Vatney and Stenger, and looks like Trey Jeffress out there. There's Jeffress sent out there for Stenger. On across Elias Vatney. Vatney shot went wide of Harinik. Back there, Mason Stenger with it. Setting into the boards. That's Tess. Here's Vatney. Down low, O'Leary. Back behind, off the stick of Trey Jeffress. Lofgren now comes into play. Lofgren there now for Jeffress. Sent in there for Stenger. Loose for Anderson. Trying to both break it free, and now it's cleared down ice. 18 seconds left to go here on the power play, coming up on 12 minutes left to go in the second. Here's Stenger with it. Stenger on over across to Vatney. Vatney up the left side at center. Vatney sent on over there for that's O'Leary rather, excuse me, O'Leary. Down there in the corner there, McCrate. Here's Jeffress with it. Jeffress in a scramble for down there in the corner. And Dalladonna will clear it down ice. That'll do it. By the way, Fargo's back at full strength. Cleared back behind the net there for Harinik. Harinik now. This will go all the way down ice and go for icing. Face-off will come to the right. Harinik. Martinu will take the draw with Dalladonna. Face-off's one that'll roll off the glass towards center. Here's Carr with it. Here's West with it. West back behind the net there for Marchenko. Marchenko, here's Sisson with it. Sisson in the circle. At the blue line, sends it on to Marchenko. Back for Sisson at the blue line. Sisson, there's Lofgren. Here's Lofgren with it. Down low, there's a shot, just went a little wide. It's in West. Here's Marchenko with it. Marchenko into the corner there for West. Out front, Lofgren was there. Nobody open, though. Here's Marchenko with it at the blue line. Marchenko feeds it on there. Sipniewski. Sipniewski down there into the corner. Mason West is there. And a scramble for picked up there by Colin Sisson. Sisson on out there for Marchenko to Lofgren. Lofgren there. McNamara takes a shot. Save made by Ryder Shea. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
When I grow up, I want to file all day.
I want to climb my way up to middle management.
I know. I want to be a yes man, yes woman.
Yes, sir. Coming, sir.
Anything for a raise, sir.
When I grow up,
I want to be underappreciated.
be paid less for doing the same job. I want sunshine blown up my dress.
Welcome back. 10:21 left to go in the second. Fargo's up 2-0. Face-off will come to the left of Ryder Shea. Face-off's won by Mason West. It's McNamara out towards the blue line for Cherney. Through the legs of McNamara to Lindbergh. Takes a shot save made by Shea. McNamara on back there for Cherney. Cherney to McNamara. On over to Lindbergh. Lindbergh there for Cherney. In the circle. Cherney there for Lindbergh. On across McNamara. Picked up there by Mason West. Here's Lindbergh with it. Lindbergh back to Mason West. Picked up there by Colin Sisson. Here's Lindbergh with it. Lindbergh in the circle. Sisson to Cherney. Back for Sisson. Pass out in front off the stick of Anderson. Puck is sent off the boards into the hands here of Cherney. Cherney now here for Lindbergh. Back behind. Lindbergh brought out towards center. Lindbergh off the stick of Tomko. That's Cherney with it. Back behind the net there of Ryder Shea. Stenger now will take this one. Here's Stenger. Back behind the net there, Freenik. Lofgren is there. That's Tomko with it. Tomko in the circle. Intercepted there by Brooks Cullen. Picked up there by Graham Jones. Here's Jones out towards center. D'Alessandro with it back behind the net there. Stenger. Picked up here, D'Alessandro. Out towards center. Lofgren through his legs. Now McCrate picks this one up. McCrate feeds it on over now. Kosiba after it. Kosiba there at center. Picked up here by Graham Jones. Takes a shot. Deflected into the corner by Ryder Shea. Jeffress with it up the left side. Sioux City's going back on the power play. Lofgren will go into the box. Jeffress, is there blood on him? Come on, give him 4. Oh, it's just 2. Might as well give him 4. Nope, he'll only get 2. High stick will be the call. We'll take a break. 8:25 left to go in the second. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. Available at Walgreens. Head to the forehead. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. Available at Walgreens. From the makers of Head On, introducing Activon. Arthritis pain? Activon. Apply directly where it hurts. Activon Arthritis. Available at Walgreens.
Do you know the secret to a happy home in these modern times? It's a housewife who's in control of the finances.
Actually, any wife, husband, or human person can use Progressive's Name Your Price tool to take control of their budget.
And while the men do the hard work of making money, she can get all the car insurance options her little heart desires.
Or the women might do the hard work of making money.
Women don't have jobs.
Is this guy for real?
Modernizing car insurance
That's
with
enough out of you. The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
Where is your husband?
Welcome back, everybody. 8:25 left to go in the second period. Fargo up 2-0. Sioux City, they'll be going on the power play here. Face-offs won and it immediately forced out towards center. You gotta love that. In fact, all the penalties so far have started with H. Holding, hooking, and high stick. As far as I know, I can't think of any more that start with H. Headbutt. That's what got Gavin Geary suspended, so that should have came first to my mind, actually. Here's Shane Gould with it. Gould sends it on over to Gavin Gary at center. Gary now to Luke Gary, and it's played offsides. Golly. Might as well be offsides. Jeez Louise. This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the sea does. Let this face-offs won there by Cullen. Puck will roll towards the blue line into the hands here of Tomko. Now for Schultz. Lindbergh cleared but not out. Tomko trying to keep it in. Saxton Tess. That son of a bitch. Shot save made by Shea. Rebound, it rolls back behind the net. Boy, Cullen interfered with Shea, so I don't know why we're not getting a penalty for that, but here's Gould with it out towards center. Gould. Nice toss through the stick here of William Tomko. It rolls back behind the net. Tomko around the boards here for Gavin Gary. And a scramble forward down in the circle. Here's Tess with Marchenko down there as well. Here's Schultz on back there for Shane Gould. Forced out towards center. Gould spins around a guy. Gould up the left side. Lindbergh tried to whack it out, but he couldn't. Here's Gavin Gary with it down in the corner. Gary sent there for Schultz. Out towards the blue line. There's Tomko with it. Now to Ashton Schultz down there in the circle. Here's Tomko on out for Schultz. 24 seconds left to go on the power play. There's Schultz with it. Schultz down there for Gavin Gary to Gould on across to Tomko. Now Gavin Gary shot off the boards here. Schultz picked up there by Cullen up the right side. Cullen with it. Trying to get a shot off, but he couldn't. One more rush up the ice here on the power play. Tomko feeds it on to Gavin Gary. Gary, a shot went wide of Hrenek. Picked up there by Tomko. We're back at full strength. Here's Schultz with it now. Schultz into the corner with McCrate. McCrate out towards center. Tried to hand it off to Lofgren, but instead picks it up himself near the corner. McCrate there for Cherney at the blue line. Cherney takes a shot, got blocked there in front. 5:55 left to go here in the second. Fargo up 2-0. Here's Saganin with it. Off the boards there for Tess. There for Cullen. McCrate. In the circle, Olenkamp. Spins around the guy. Olenkamp in the corner. Puck is loose down there. It's Cherney on over across to Lindbergh. Lindbergh. Down there, Deladonna with it. Deladonna in the circle. Sent out there for Sisson. Pass on across to Lindbergh. Lindbergh shot went wide off the glass. Oh, it went right through the legs of Cherney. Here comes Tadil Booten. Hrenek all the way out of his net. And Booten got tripped up. My goodness. Oh, how that did not result in a goal, I don't know. Jesus. Here's D'Alessandro with it. D'Alessandro pass in front, Geiger up high. Oh, and D'Alessandro knocks Lofgren into the boards. Poliski getting involved too. Here's Sisson with it now. Sisson there at the blue line. Spun around Lindbergh. Lofgren with it. Here's Marchenko with it. Marchenko off the boards there. McNamara down into the corner. D'Alessandro is there. D'Alessandro on over to Christian Lyons. In the corner, tipped up into the air. Here's McCrate. A shot went wide. McNamara now with it behind the net. Mason West out in front. Here's Anderson, maybe. Here's Marchenko with it. Batted down there by D'Alessandro. Through the legs, Aiden Dyer with it. Boy, Fargo is doing everything they can to try and piss us off right now. Marchenko with it. Marchenko there for McCrate. McCrate on over there to Marchenko at the blue line. Marchenko into the corner. Now is McNamara. McNamara takes a shot. Save made by Ryder Shea. Uh-oh, Anderson and somebody behind the net there getting physical. .331 left to go here in the second. Well, is Sioux City getting a penalty? Oh my Lord. In fact, Jeffress tried to plead his case. Oh, okay. We're going to play that game now. Okay. Unsportsmanlike conduct to Max Anderson. It's just ridiculous. Max Anderson just standing up for his own guy. I mean, come on. He didn't start anything. Look, Anderson and the one Fargo guy just ran into each other accidentally. And then somebody, the guy from Fargo must have said something to him. And of course, that'll set off Max Anderson any day of the week, as it should. But here's Cherney there for Lofgren. Down there in the corner. Puck sent back behind the net there. That's Cherney with it. Cherney. O'Leary trying to get it out. Stanger will. Cherney and Jeffress going after it. It's Cherney that comes up with it. On over there to Jones. Here's Cherney with it. Cherney. Cherney picked up there by Graham Jones. Here's Sisson with it down there in the corner. And a scramble for Mason West with it. West. O'Leary with it. Feeds it on over to Mason. Stanger up the left side. Short-handed. Stanger on Jeffress. Tipped in front. Intercepted. Here's Mason West. Long toss there for Colin Sisson. Sisson. Pass across. There's a shot. Save made. Shea. Now another shot. Went wide. And out of play. Looks like we're going to have another penalty here for slashing. And is that going on Stanger? It is. So we'll go 5-on-3. My goodness. Well, it wasn't a slash, maybe a rough, but maybe roughing, but definitely not a slash. That would be 2 straight weekends. Well, and now one of their coaches was complaining. Fargo's, Well, Fargo just called a timeout. I don't know why, but they don't need it, for God's sake. Why would Fargo need a timeout? They're in the lead. In fact, now both referees are talking with Coach Kersner at the bench. Watch it. Kersner's going to get kicked out. I have a feeling. He's already been kicked out 3 times this year. And I don't see Alex Doyle on the bench. So, oh wait, yes, he's there. He's just hidden from all of us. Yeah, Kersner, he is pissed. And I don't blame him. I would be too right now. Well, I am. You can tell by the way my voice sounds right now. Face off will come to the left here of Ryder Shea. So this is going to be a 5-on-3. Because Fagan's an idiot. Oh, you know how much of an idiot he is. Face-off's won. Here's Cherney with it. Lofgren feeds it on over there for Cherney down there in the corner. Here's Lofgren with it. Lofgren out there for Cherney. Cherney down there for Jones, I want to say. On out Lofgren, one-time shot. Stopped by Shea. Face-off will come to the right of Shea. West will take the draw now with Aiden Dyer. It's going to be Dyer, Lyons, and I believe Vatne out there for us. Fargo wins the draw. They've got 5-on-3 for 40 seconds here. So here's Lofgren with it. Lofgren down there in the circle. Jones there for Lofgren. Lofgren feeds it on out there for Cherney. Cherney down low in the circle. Kosiba. Kosiba on a cross shot. And Graham Jones scores. So that'll be a power play goal. They still got a power play for minute 25. This is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Really, it is. Face-offs won. Here's Lindbergh with it. Lindbergh, a minute 50 left to go. Yeah, he does. Here's McNamara. Offsides. Well, they'll call an offsides, but they won't call a frickin' penalty. Go figure. Go figure. Face-offs won. Here's Jeffress with it. Down there, Delanato. Ooh, and Jeffress crushes him. That's Lindbergh with it. Here's Olenkamp with it. Off the back here of Luke Gary. Here's Gary. Pass across to Jeffress. Shot stopped by Harinek. McNamara with it there at the blue line. McNamara there for Brooks Cullen. Cullen in the circle. Shot save Shea. Rebound. Covered up by him. A minute 8 left to go here in the second. Fargo, the 3-0 lead. Face-off will come to the left of Shea. Anderson will take the draw here with Mason West. Anderson wins the draw. It rolls into the corner towards center. Here's O'Leary with it. Picked up there by Cherney. Now there for Christian Lyons. Lofgren with it there in the circle. Lofgren shot save made by Shea. Rebound loose in front. Picked up there by Anderson. Here's Anderson with it out towards center. Anderson hits the stanchion. Rolls back behind the net there. Harinek gives it on over there for Cherney. Cherney towards center. That's Jones. Now for Colin Sisson. Sisson. Now here's Cherney after it. 26 seconds left to go here in the second. Cherney to Sisson. Sent down into the corner. Picked up there by Graham Jones. Vatne on him. Spun it off to West. West. Here comes Topko back the other way. Topko tipped into the hands of Derek Olson. Here's Olson on back. Shane Gold. Slapper was blocked, I think, by Schultz. Here's Schultz, another drive. That got deflected wide, and that's the end of 2 periods of play. So 3-0. Fargo in the lead. Sioux City, they've had some nice opportunities here, but they just can't convert them into goals. Of course, part of that is Fagan's fault, too. I mean, geez Louise. All right, let's see if the internet's nicer to me this time. Well, minute and 40 in, Nick Kosiba scored unassisted. That made it a 2-0 game. 6/10 to Pon Cherney winning. 2 minutes for hooking. 11:35. Axel Lofgren for high sticking. 16:29. Max Anderson on sportsmanlike conduct. Stenger went in. 2 minutes for slashing. And then at 18:02, Graham Jones got it from Colin Sisson. USHL scores. Cedar Rapids leads 2-1, beginning of the third period over Team USA. Right now, Muskegon leads Omaha 3-2 with 4:23 left to go in the second. Green Bay leads Youngstown 4-3, 6:25 left to go in the second. Lincoln leads Tri-City 2-0 with 3:50 left to go here in the second. Of course, our game right now, Dubuque leads Waterloo 1-0 with 17:10 left to go in the second. Tied up at 0, 6:41 left to go in the first. Madison at Chicago. Tied up at 0, halfway through the first period. Sioux Falls is at Des Moines. NHL scores from across the country. Right now, tied up at 3. 51 seconds left to go in the second period. The Islanders are at the Blue Jackets. Second intermission, the Blackhawks are at the Avalanche, tied up at 1. 4:39 left to go in the first. The Senators lead the Maple Leafs, or they're tied rather, excuse me, now it's 3-2 with 5:37 left to go in the second period. Looks like Islanders and Blue Jackets will go to overtime as well. Avalanche lead the Blackhawks 3-1, so that one's done and dusted. 9:51 left to go in the second. The Canadiens lead the Capitals 2-1. Sabres lead the Lightning 5-0 with 7:06 left to go. Hurricanes lead the Red Wings 3-0 with 2:53 left to go in the second. 6:11 left to go in the second. Tied up at 0. The Flames are at the Kings. Predators lead the Stars 1-0. 4:29 left to go in the first. And then coming up later on tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern, the Canucks are at the Kraken. Rangers beat the Penguins earlier today in a shootout 3-2. Flyers beat the Bruins 3-1. Sharks beat the Oilers 5-4, and then the Devils beat the Blues 3-1. NBA scores. Well, maybe. No game schedule. There's 5, I know that. Wizards lead the Raptors 33-25 at the end of 1. Lakers are at the Warriors here coming up in about 5 minutes. And at 9:30, Pelicans are at the Jazz. Then we had an update, actually. Wizards lead the Raptors 74-71 with 9:08 left to go in the third quarter. So there you go. Hornets beat the Trailblazers earlier today 109-93. And then the Heat beat the Rockets 115-105. Men's college hoops now. Maybe. There we go. St. John's leads Villanova 32-14 with 8:16 left to go in the first half. St. Louis leads Duquesne 28-26, 6:44 left to go in the first half. Arkansas and Florida just tipped off. Arkansas with an early 2-zip lead. Coming up shortly as well, Virginia Tech at North Carolina. Then at 10:30 Eastern time later on tonight, Gonzaga is at St. Mary's. Then some finals from earlier today. Texas Tech beat Iowa State 82-73. Alabama beat Tennessee 71-69. West Virginia beat BYU 79-71. Duke beat Virginia 77-51. Arizona beat Kansas 84-61. Houston beat Colorado 102-62. UConn beat Seton Hall 71-67. Nebraska beat USC 82-67. Clemson beat Louisville 80-75, and then Vanderbilt beat Kentucky beat Vanderbilt 91-77. Maybe. Both of them finals. Princeton beat Hartford 62-49. Then Michigan beat Maryland 87-69. MLB scores, of course, it's spring training. So, yeah, already. Pittsburgh beat Houston 5-2. That was a 6-inning game. Detroit beat Tampa Bay 12-3. Boston beat Minnesota 13-8. Atlanta beat Baltimore 7-5. The Yankees beat the Blue Jays 5-1. Then the Blue Jays again beat the Phillies 7-5. Washington beat the Mets 3-2. St. Louis beat Miami 10-2. Chicago beat LA 6-2. The Dodgers. San Francisco beat the A's 8-2. Texas beat the Dodgers 7-6. White Sox beat the I almost called them the Indians, the Guardians 7-5 because they were called that at one time. Diamondbacks beat the Angels 8-5. Kansas City beat Colorado 16-3. San Diego beat Seattle 7-1. Cincinnati beat Milwaukee 9-7. And then, yeah, that's it. We'll take a break. We'll be back here. Third period of play coming up in about 10 and a half minutes.